There's a barrel sitting behind my shed right now, 55 gallons. And the last time it rained, a normal rain, nothing dramatic, maybe an inch, that barrel filled to the top and started spilling over in about 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Now here's the part that gets me. That same rain, the exact same rain, ran off your roof this morning too. Off every roof on your street. And it went straight down the gutter, into the downspout, out to the curb, and down the drain. Gone. And then, a little later, you turned on your tap, and you paid the town to pump that same kind of water right back to you. You paid for the sky. You've been paying for the sky your whole life. I want to show you how to stop doing that. My name's Claudio. I'm Amish. And I want to be careful here because I'm not going to sit and tell you my family has never touched running water. That's not true, and you'd smell it if it was. But I will tell you this. We don't pay a water bill the way you do. We never really have. There's a cistern under the ground on our place that my grandfather's father helped dig, and it catches the rain off the barn roof. And it's been doing that quietly for longer than anybody's been alive to remember it starting. No motor, no meter, no monthly envelope from the county, just a roof and gravity and a hole in the ground. And the thing is, it's not complicated. It's honestly one of the simplest things you'll ever build. What makes it feel complicated is that nobody tells you the 3 or 4 little details that separate "I've got clean water in a barrel" from "I've got a green buggy mess that I'm scared to use." So we're going to do this right. By the end of this, you'll know how to catch the rain off your own roof, how to keep it clean, how to get pressure out of it without electricity. And I'm going to give you a warning near the end, a real one, because in a couple of places they actually made this difficult on purpose, and you need to hear that part before you build anything. So stay with me. This is a weekend, less than a weekend, and once it's done, it just works forever, for free. Okay, let me start with the roof, because the roof is the whole trick. That's the part people miss. You are already standing under a rain collector. That's what a roof is. We just never think about it that way, because the water leaves so fast. But let me give you the number, because the number is what changed my mind years ago. For every 1 inch of rain that falls on 1,000 square feet of roof, you collect about 600 gallons. 600. Well, it's 623 if you want to be exact about it, but round it down to 600 and you're safe. 1 inch, 1,000 square feet, 600 gallons. Now most houses, the roof's bigger than that. 1,500, 2,000 square feet, easy. So a single decent rainstorm, an inch, 2 inches, that's 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 gallons of water landing on your house and running away from you in an afternoon. And where I'm sitting, we get, 40 inches of rain a year, give or take. You do that math and it's tens of thousands of gallons a year falling on one house, falling on your house, and you're letting all of it run to the curb and then buying it back by the gallon. That's the part that ought to bother you. It bothered me. So the whole job is just stop the water from running away and put it somewhere you can use it. That's it. Everything else is detail. Let's do the catching first. Your gutter's already doing half the work. The rain hits the roof, runs to the edge, the gutter catches it, and funnels it all to the downspout, that vertical pipe that carries it down to the ground. Right now, that downspout is dumping everything onto the ground and away. All we're going to do is interrupt it. Cut into that downspout and send the water into a barrel instead of onto the grass. Now, before you get excited and go cut your downspout, clean the gutter first. I mean it. Go up there, get the leaves out, get the shingle grit out, run a hose through it, because whatever's sitting in that gutter is going straight into your water, and I'd rather you find the tennis ball in the bird's nest now than pull them out of your barrel in July. While you're up there, and this is one of the little things nobody mentions, put a screen over the mouth of the gutter, or at least over the top of the downspout. Just a mesh. 1/4 inch is fine, finer is better. That mesh is going to keep out the leaves, the twigs, the roof grit, and, this is the important one, the mosquitoes. Mosquitoes need still water to lay their eggs, and an open barrel of rainwater is, to a mosquito, the finest hotel in the county. So we screen it, top of the downspout, and the lid of the barrel, both, sealed up. No bugs get in, no eggs get laid, and you never have to think about it again. All right, so you've got a clean gutter, you've got a screen, and now you're going to put your barrel under the downspout. You've got a couple of ways to do this. The simplest, the one I'd tell you to do the very first weekend, is a diverter. It's a little kit, $20, $30 at the hardware store. You cut a section out of your downspout, you slide the diverter in, and it has a hose that runs over to your barrel. What's nice about the diverter is when the barrel's full, it just sends the extra water back down the downspout the normal way. So you don't have to babysit it. You don't come home to a flooded yard. Barrel's full. The rest goes where it always went. The other way, if you're handier, is you just run the whole downspout straight into the top of the barrel through the screen. That works. It's cheaper, but then you've got to deal with the overflow yourself. And I'll come back to overflow because overflow is one of those things that seems small and then floods your basement, so it's not small. Now the barrel itself. Get a food-grade barrel. Please, this matters. A 55-gallon food-grade drum, the blue ones, usually. You can find them used for $20, $30 if you ask around, a little more new. Food grade means it held something you'd eat or drink before, olives, syrup, something like that. What you do not want, and people do this to save money and I understand it, but don't, is a barrel that held some chemical you can't pronounce, because you will never fully get that out. And now it's in your tomatoes. Food grade, that's the rule. And one barrel, I'll be honest with you, one barrel fills fast. That's the good news and the humbling news. 55 gallons sounds like a lot until you see it top out in one storm. So don't think of the first barrel as the finish line. Think of it as the proof. Once you watch it fill, you're going to want more. And here's how you grow it without spending a fortune. The cheapest way to grow is to link barrels together. You run a short pipe from near the bottom of the first barrel to the bottom of the second, and they fill as one. Water finds its level, so they rise together and you've doubled your storage for the price of a fitting. Add a third, a fourth, run them along the side of the shed. And when you're ready to really jump, you look at what's called an IBC tote. Those big square tanks in a metal cage, 275 gallons each. People sell them used all the time. $50 to $100 if you look, and one of those holds 5 barrels worth. Get a food grade one, same rule as before. 2 of those totes on the shady side of the house, and you're storing over 500 gallons, quietly, for a couple $100. And the old Amish answer, the one under my feet, that's a cistern, a big tank in the ground that stays cool and dark and holds thousands of gallons through the dry months. That's a bigger project, and it's a whole conversation of its own. But I want you to know the ladder goes all the way up. 1 barrel to a cistern, same idea the whole way. A roof and somewhere to put the water. Okay, now here's the detail that separates the people who know from the people who don't. This is the one I really want you to hear. The first water off your roof is dirty. Not a little, a lot. Think about it. Your roof's been sitting there for days, weeks, collecting dust, pollen, bird droppings, soot, whatever the wind brought, and that little bit of shingle grit that always comes off. Then it rains, and that first gush of water sweeps all of that off the roof and carries it straight down the downspout. So if you catch everything, the very first water into your barrel is the dirtiest water of the whole storm. The fix is called a first flush, and all it is, it's a way to throw away that first dirty gush before you start collecting the clean stuff. The old-timers did it by hand. They just wait a couple minutes into the rain and then swing the pipe over to the cistern. But you can build a first flush diverter with a piece of PVC pipe standing straight up next to your downspout. The dirty first water fills that standing pipe first, and once it's full, the water rises past it and flows on into your barrel, clean. Then at the bottom of that standing pipe, you put a tiny drip hole, or a little valve, and after the storm, it slowly empties itself out and resets for next time. Rule of thumb, and don't overthink this. You want to throw away about the first 10 gallons for a normal size roof. Maybe a gallon or 2 for every 100 square feet of roof. Doesn't have to be perfect. Even a rough first flush makes the water in your barrel dramatically cleaner. It's the difference between water you're proud of and water you're apologizing for. Build the first flush. Everybody skips it. Don't be everybody. Alright, so now you're catching clean rain in a food grade barrel with a screen on it and a first flush ahead of it. Good. Now how do you get the water back out with some pressure? Because a spigot at the bottom of a barrel sitting on the ground gives you a sad little dribble. You could water a houseplant with it maybe. Here's how you fix that, and it costs nothing but a little muscle. You lift the barrel up. Height is pressure. That's the whole secret. Every foot you raise that barrel, you get a little under half a pound of pressure at the spigot. Call it a half a pound per foot. Close enough. So you put your barrel up on cinder blocks, up on a sturdy stand, up on a little platform. Get it 2, 3, 4 feet off the ground, and now that same barrel pushes water out with real force. Enough to run a soaker hose across the whole garden on gravity alone. No pump, no power. You just let the water fall. And water falling is water with pressure. And if you want to move it further than gravity will take it, say you want to push it uphill, back up to the house, up to a tank in the attic even. Well, that's a different tool, and I'll point you to it in a minute, because there's an Amish pump that does exactly that with no electricity at all. And I don't want to cram two builds into one video, one thing at a time. Catch the water first. Let me talk about overflow because I promised I would. When that barrel is full, the water has to go somewhere. If you don't plan for it, somewhere is going to be the foundation of your house. And water against a foundation is how basements flood and how you get that damp, musty problem you'll spend years fighting. So, put an overflow outlet near the top of the barrel, a pipe or a hose, and aim it away from the house, downhill, out to the garden, out to a low spot, anywhere but against the wall of your home. This is a 5-minute job that saves you a $5,000 problem. Do it when you build, not after. Now, let me clear up something people get wrong because I get this question, and the worry behind it is real. People say, isn't rainwater dirty? Isn't it acid rain? I heard rainwater's not safe, and I understand where that comes from. But let me be straight with you. Rainwater, the water itself coming out of the sky, is some of the cleanest water there is. It's distilled, basically. Nature evaporated it and dropped it. The rain isn't the problem. What touches the rain is the problem. The roof, the gutter, the barrel, the bird that flew over. That's why we screen it. That's why we first flush it. That's why we use food grade. Handle the surfaces and you've handled the water. The acid rain scare, for a garden barrel, for washing, for your animals, for your plants, that is not something you need to lose sleep over. Your tomatoes will be happier with rainwater than with the chlorinated stuff from the tap. Plants love it. But, and now I'm going to be very direct with you, because this is one of the 2 warnings and I do not want you to miss it. Do not assume this water is safe to drink. Not out of the barrel. Not without treating it. For your garden, your lawn, washing the car, flushing a toilet, washing clothes, watering the animals, barrel rainwater, screened and first flushed, is perfect. And that alone is going to gut your water bill, because that's most of what a household actually uses water for, especially in the summer. But drinking water and cooking water is a higher bar. If you ever want to drink it, you need more. You need good filtration, and you need to disinfect it, whether that's boiling it or a proper filter rated for it, or ultraviolet. And honestly, if you're going that far, you should test it. The Amish who drink their cistern water aren't drinking it raw off the roof. There's sand filtration, there's settling, there's know-how behind it that goes back generations. So, garden and washing, go, today, no worries. Drinking, treat it first, or don't, but don't guess. That's me being honest with you instead of selling you something. And here's the second warning, and this one surprises people, and it makes me a little angry every time I say it, so forgive me. In some places, it is against the rules to collect the rain that falls on your own roof. I'm not joking. In a handful of states out west especially, they have laws about rainwater. Some just want you to register it. Some limit how much you can store. There was a stretch where in one state you were basically capped at a couple of barrels, and that was it. Now, a lot of those laws have loosened up in recent years, and in most of the country, a rain barrel is completely fine and even encouraged. Some towns will give you a rebate for it. But you owe it to yourself to spend 10 minutes and check your own state and your own town before you build a big system. Search your state's name and rainwater harvesting law. 10 minutes. Because the last thing I want is for you to build something beautiful and useful and then get a letter. Know the rule where you live. Most of you are completely fine, but check. I had to say it. All right, let me pull this together because I've thrown a lot at you, and I want you to walk away knowing exactly what to do. Here's your weekend. Here's the whole thing, in order. 1. Check your local rule. 10 minutes before anything else. 2. Clean your gutter and put a screen on the downspout. Keep the leaves and the bugs out. 3. Get a food-grade barrel, 55 gallons to start. 1 barrel. You can always add more, and you will once you see it fill. 4. Put the barrel up on blocks, 2 feet at least. Height is your free pressure. 5. Put in a diverter or run the downspout into the screen top. And don't skip this. Build a first flush to throw away the first 10 gallons of dirty roof water. 6. Add an overflow near the top, aimed away from your house. 7. Put a spigot near the bottom, and that's it. You're done. You're collecting rain. That's a $50, maybe $80 project for the first barrel. And the very next time it rains, you'll walk out there and turn that spigot and watch clean water come out that you did not pay a soul for. And I'm telling you, the first time you do that, something changes in your head. You start looking at the sky different. You start looking forward to the rain. Now, if you want the rest of it, and by the rest of it, I mean the real numbers, how big a cistern you'd need to actually carry a household through a dry spell, how the Amish size these things, and that pump I mentioned, the ram pump that moves water uphill to your house on no electricity at all. I put all of that, the whole water side of how we live, into a guide. It's linked up top in the description. You don't need it to build the barrel. Everything you need for the barrel I just gave you, for free. That's yours. The guide's just there if you decide you want to go from one barrel to never thinking about a water bill again. That's all. Because here's the thing I keep coming back to, and then I'll let you go. They can raise the price of water. They do, every year, a little more. They can put you on restrictions in a dry summer and tell you when you're allowed to water your own garden. They can do a lot of things. But there is one thing the water company cannot do, and it's the thing I love most about all of this. They cannot shut off the sky. The rain is going to keep falling on your roof whether you catch it or not. That's the only real question here. Are you going to keep letting it run to the curb, or are you going to put a barrel under it? The water's free. It always was. Somebody just convinced us to let it go and buy it back. So this weekend, put the barrel out. Start with one. Check your rule. Screen it. Flush it. Raise it up. And write to me. Leave a comment and tell me where you're at, what your rain's like where you live, whether you get those long dry stretches or the rain that never quits, because I read them, all of them, and I learn as much from you as you do from me. And the next one I want to show you is the pump. The one with almost no moving parts that takes the water you just caught and pushes it uphill to the house, to a tank, on nothing but the force of the water itself. No motor, no power. My great-grandfather's kind of machine. That one's a little bit magic, and it's next. The folks who caught their own water and grew their own food and kept themselves through a hard winter, they weren't doing anything you can't do. They just never forgot that most of what you need is already falling on you for free. You just have to put something under it. Go put the barrel out. I'll see you on the next one.